So I don't normally do sponsorships, but this is a special one that I wanted to do. Number one is it has gemstones, and I'm a real gemstone fan. Also, I'm really excited about the concept that they are supporting the rehabilitation or the re-emergence, you could say, of the otters in Monterey Bay, where this company is founded. There's a lot of things that check the boxes, and that's why I decided that I would try out this sponsorship. Now, I haven't opened these boxes, so we're going to do it together and see what everything looks like. The first one here is called Purple Fluorite. If you can see that, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got a really sweet little picture of an otter. Well, I'll try it on just to see how it fits, and right now it's perfect. Wonderful box, so I do love it. Let's see what we have in here. This is the jade. Well, that's really pretty too. Beautifully polished, lovely. Apparently they're between A and AAA in quality, which is pretty amazing. Another one, and this is the peridot. Oh, very nice. Yeah, I really like these. These are absolutely stunning. The cool thing about these is that they have a special code, and it'll give you 35% off anything that is $99 and over. So the code is Denise35. I will have that in the description below, and it'll also give you the link to the website so you can check it out. So this will be my fourth bracelet, and wow, look at that. Gorgeous. And so I really do hope that you will have a look at their website, check it out. As I said, I'll leave all the details below. Denise35, it's pretty easy to remember. And with that said, let's get into the video. I hope you're doing well. On November 20th, we have a new moon happening. It's going to be happening at 28 degrees Scorpio. And this is a new moon that is very reminiscent of the full moon that we had earlier in the month. It does have the 1/8 channel. And although it does kind of look the same, there are some subtle differences that are important. It is really setting us up for this individuality, this creativity, this authenticity. Authenticity, that is the key. That is that's our new currency. The sooner we get comfortable with authenticity, the better it will be, because that's ultimately what we're moving into when we move into 2027. And I know I do sound like a broken record, but that's just the way it is for me. I have to keep talking about what I'm inspired to talk about. And that's what this 1/8 channel is about. It is about talking about what inspires you. But not everybody is interested in what inspires you. So for instance, anybody who's interested in what I have to say on this video, or clicked on this video, or anything like that, that basically is acknowledging that we're open to what I want to share with you. And if you're not, then you may click off and you don't want to watch it, and that's fine too. But ultimately, that's what this energy is telling us. When someone is open to what you want to share, then that is when you can be seen and heard for what you can offer to the world. And that's when things can start to move from the spark stage to the collective hearth, you could say, stage. And that is sort of the main line that runs through the pretty much the whole of the month of November, the full moon, and now the new moon now. That is the underlying key that we have talked about several times. The other perspective is that we do have, in this particular new moon, we have a lot of fourth line energy. So now we know that not only are we wanting to share our creative contribution with the world, because this is the channel of the creative role model. And role model in this case is somebody who lives by their truth, who walks in their authenticity, who is who they are, and they don't pretend to be anybody else. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the month, anybody who's faking it may be called out. And the other perspective is, from a global stage, this is where we could see people basically selling out their metaphorical soul for money, because that's involved within this energy as well. So even though we do have the 1/8 channel, we also have gate 14 activated by the sun and gate 8 activated by the earth. Now, gate 8, line 4 is basically saying to stick with the plan, to stay with your integrity, to stay with your truth. Because when you get to the fourth line, there's always this potential to try and change your messaging or change something to gain approval of others, especially when it comes to something that you really want to show the world, that you really want to push out into the world. It's like somebody says, oh, well, you should change A, B, and C. And then you do, and then you feel like you kind of sold out. And that's just saying that sticking with your plans, staying on the path that you've designed for yourself. And of course, you can change it based on what feels good to you. What happens with the fourth line is the idea is that influence comes from your ability to stay with it, your single focus of this is me, this is how I present myself, and I just can't change who I am, and nor should I ever have to change who I am. And that's kind of the general message that we get from this new moon. With the sun, moon, and also Mercury in gate 14, the overarching message is always to do what you love and abundance will follow. I did talk about that in the general overview. And this is basically seconding it. It's saying again, the new moon is saying, please do what makes you feel good. Please do what makes your heart sing. I know that's not always possible for everybody. And you may say, well, I have to make this, I have to do this job because I need the money, and what I want to do may not necessarily bring me the money. But this is saying perseverance, Mars, gate 5, line 1. Hold on to that dream. Do something on the side, do little things, keep building. And eventually it may become something that you never expected it to be. And I've heard of these types of stories where people never thought that they could get where they are, but they just took one step, and then they took another step, and then they took another step, and suddenly they were where they always wanted to be. It doesn't mean that there's no work. It doesn't mean that everything's easy, and that it doesn't mean that there's no obstacles in our way. But it does mean that you are so inspired and you feel so good about what you're doing because it brings such this sense of peace and serenity and doing what you want to do. Then it feels like it's all worth it. And that is what this energy is saying. Money is one thing. And, when we look at the will center, and basically that's all tribal energy, and it's all about how the tribe makes money. And then we also have individuality, which is the 5125 channel. So if we look at the tribal way of how money is made, it's the new improved. You do whatever you need to do to support, to get support, or to give support. That's how tribal energy works. When you get to individuality, this is so much about the beingness that it's almost impossible to do something that you really don't like doing. This is like a call to action to say, if there's something you love doing and you're just not doing it because you can't make money doing it, it says, just give it a try. Do something small, try a little bit, and see how far it will take you. What do you have to lose ultimately? It doesn't mean give up your life. It just means just do something that you can do. What can you do in the moment? And everybody will have a different answer to what that means for them. So that's what this basically is telling us, this new moon. Not only does gate 14 help you to make more money doing something you love, but it also is an energy that can see the talents of other people. And again, with gate 14, line 4, this is having a network of people that are working together to build a foundation of abundance, possession, and great measure, doing something they love, making a movie that they love, or starting a store, or doing something that you love doing, that everybody is inspired to work together and getting the best out of everybody. Everybody's in the game doing what they love doing. The one thing about this new moon that you'll notice is that there's a lot of exalted energy. We have the moon is exalted, the sun is exalted, Mercury is exalted, Venus is exalted, Mars is exalted, and also Uranus is exalted. It brings that one side of the energy. Now, we know that exaltations are not good or bad, but what it does say is that planets that are exalted in a particular line are going to be able to express that energy easier because that's their gift. So in other words, if you're somebody who's very good at something and you're given that task to do, you can do very well doing that particular task. And so in other words, you can get ahead doing that task. But if you're somebody who is given a task that you've never done before, you're not really good at it. In fact, it's probably something that would never align with you, and you're given that task to do, you may not do that job in the exact same way. It means that you can still get the job done. You might have to learn. There might be a few more obstacles, and that's kind of the difference. So an exalted energy is one where that particular planet is the best planet for that particular job. And the Detriment is where a planet is in a place where they feel out of their depth. It doesn't mean you can't get that energy to work the way you want it to work or to express it the way you want to express it, but it's going to take a little more effort. And that's the difference between the exalted energies. And so what this is basically saying, this new moon saying, is that we're all the planets are sort of in their places where they are exalted, or they do their best, or it's easier for them to get that level of energy or that expression of the energy out into the collective to help to bring that energy to all of us so that we can tap into it if we want to. And that's kind of a nice thing to do. So when we look at Mars in gate 5, line 1, we know that gate 5 is half of the 515. This is about being in the flow of your life. This is about the collective aura. This is about the love of humanity. The love of humanity means that you want to bring your best self to the world. You want to improve the world. You want things to be better because you have given your light to the world, because you have put something into the world that is unique to you. And this is what this is asking. What can you bring to the world that is unique to you? And if you can bring it to the world, then there's a good chance you can make money doing it, because gate 14 says that is how individuality works, loving their work. But I'll tell you, on the other perspective, when you have gate 14, a lot of times it can be when you're not doing something you love, you could just feel that there's just a lot more kind of resistance to moving forward in your path. Because remember, gate 14 is connected to gate 2. This is the tantric channel where we're going up a higher octave, connecting to the magnetic monopole. If you look at the full moon earlier in the month, and then you look at the new moon now, and we see gate 14, the sun is in gate 14, moon, and also Mercury. And then in the last one, we had gate 2 activated. So this is basically really talking about the direction of contribution, the direction of what we're going to put out into the world. It is energy to say, what do I want to bring to the world? What do I have to offer to the world? And if I do have something, let me start taking the steps that can make that happen in my life and to make me feel more empowered by what I do every day. Now, globally, we have Pluto in gate 60, line 6, and we also have Saturn in gate 36, line 3. And so, as I said, when Saturn hit gate 36, line 3, this is an illumination. This is a new moon that says that we have hit the end. And now we're only going to be moving into change. There's nothing behind us anymore. This is, Saturn in this energy in gate 36, line 3, and will not be in this energy for another 29 to 30 years after it comes out of this energy on December 10th. It basically says, especially with the new moon, this is new energy that is being infused, powerful energy, because Saturn is in gate 36, line 3. This is the end of the road. This is transition. And then if you look at this whole idea of gate 14, it basically is just saying, do what you love. You may be so surprised in how it will work out and how good it will work out, better than you may have ever expected. And so you'll never know unless you try. And this is basically saying, give it a try, see what happens. Do it on your own terms, as everything that we do in life should be on our own terms. Do it on your own terms and see what happens. And with that said, I hope you have a wonderful new moon. And until next time, take care and bye for now.